Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about narrow AI and how it applies to the stock market. So AlphaGo was a narrow AI, and all it could do was play Go. And it was a big achievement, but it didn't actually destabilize the world or really change things, because it was really just demoralizing for the people it played against. So if you could have a narrow AI for the stock market, like something that's a huge breakthrough in the stock market, then it could actually be a really interesting thing. So imagine you had a 17-year-old Russian who figured out an amazing algorithm that was really good with low signal data like the stock market, and he ended up over a period of like 2 years making like $400 billion. Now, the reason this wouldn't happen is because the stock market has these really big access barriers. So even though it seems like you can just go and use Yahoo Finance data to train your model, and it seems like you can just trade with Robinhood, you'd actually never be able to do it properly, because you need a prime broker, and you need a lot of money, and you need a lot of high quality data. So the promise is really good, though. Like, if we could use all the data from the 20th century, all the people trying to express their intelligence while trading, and actually automate everything, that would be a really good world where everything was well priced. But right now, it doesn't really work that way. You have lots of different hedge funds, and they all copy each other and then do a little bit more. So you have you buy 3 data sets and you hire 2 PhDs, and then someone else buys 4 data sets and the 3 are the same, and then another PhD. So it ends up being like a lot of duplication and wasted human resources. And it would be really cool if there were just one hedge fund that kind of like managed all the money in the world. And that also seems kind of scary, so you'd want to have that hedge fund be open. And that's what Numerai is. So Numerai is a hedge fund built by a global network of data scientists, but it's also really, in another way, it's something for AIs. It's an API for AIs to contribute intelligence to the stock market. But we have to solve all the problems that an AI would have. So a machine learning algorithm isn't like Black-Scholes, where it's like this sort of like formula that you can use. A machine learning algorithm is useless without a training data set. And so we created this data set that's unintelligible to people, but actually is intelligible to machines. So this is what the Numerai data looks like. You can download it for free on our website and do nothing with it except really machine learning. And so this is 530,000 rows. And it goes on for 50 features, and it sort of represents stuff to do with global equities in a very, very abstract way, but in a way where machine learning algorithms can find patterns in this data. So the other thing you'd need to get right is to make sure that the AIs are doing the right thing. And so that's where incentives come in. And that's clearly where blockchain comes in. So we created a token called Numerai, and it is a token that we gave away for free to our data scientists. And we allowed them to do one very simple thing, but one kind of like underrated thing in blockchain, which is stake it, right? So this is our website. You submit your predictions, and then you say, well, you like might have just made 1,000 accounts, and hope that one of them works. And that's a problem, because that's kind of like a Sybil attack on Numerai. But so if you stake, you're kind of like forcing people to say, well, do you really believe in this? What's your confidence in this model? How much do you think it will generalize to live data? How much do you think you haven't just overfit a back test? And so you upload your predictions, you can choose how much Numerai to stake, and you just press stake. By the way, you don't need to do any key management or even know about Ethereum or know that there's an Ethereum kind of stake happening in the background. It's a really, really simple application. And that's why it's been used so many times. There have been 3,000 stakes of 30,000 Numerai in total since it launched a few months ago. And it turns out that the models that people stake on are way, 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 way better. So we've created an incentive for people to kind of submit really good intelligence to us. So that's it, except for one other thing that we're working on that we haven't really talked about much. But another thing you'd want to do to make a hedge fund like this, next generation hedge fund, would be you have to give free data, you have to get the incentives right, but you also, if the data set's large, you need a lot of computing power. So AlphaGo used a lot of computing power. So how could we give away computing power to our data scientists? And the idea is basically, what if you could stake some Numerai, and the minute you stake it, we spin up an Amazon EC2 instance, which is the best computer in the world that they have for machine learning, with GPUs, TensorFlow installed, all the connections to our API set up, so that it's just like the perfect computer to do modeling on Numerai with. And then the minute you're done, you just shut the computer down and you get your stake back. And so this is a way to, for free, give people access to computation. So with all three of those things, I think we're going to have a really interesting kind of future for hedge funds. Thanks.